these are literally some of the problems and some of the concerns that not only I myself had, but many of you had about Ferrari. And I'm going to do this and then I'm going to go chill for real. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me change up something. And let me change up something real quick. So my problem with Ferrari was this. What's going on, Galactus? And I'm going to say this real quick and then I'm going to go chill. Ferrari have been known to make these mistakes. Was it not 2023 COTA where Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc were both disqualified for this very similar situation? Right. There we go. Appreciate you, brother. And here we are again. Only difference is we're in China, and now Lewis Hamilton is with Ferrari, not Mercedes. Mercedes had did it, Ferrari did it, and then here it is. Are we not at the most elite level of motorsports? If we know that this is a thing, should somebody not be checking this? All right. So first, big shout out to Oscar Piastri grabbing the win in China. Big shout out to him. Also Lando in 2. And also crediting McLaren for managing their drivers and their situation today as far as their strategy and Lando's brake pedal situation, which was ultimately something that's very uncomfortable for a driver. I can only imagine if I was in my truck or my Integra, pushed the brake pedal, went to the floor and just had to keep feeling that. So I am always thinking of that mechanical error. But are they out here? Kimi Antonelli's looking like a rock star right now. He's looking like a rock star. He already got driver of the day, but he's looking like a rock star on paper. We see right here, Kimi Antonelli again promoted. Kimi Antonelli's in 6th place. Esteban and Haas in 5th place. Max Verstappen didn't change. He was where he was. Alex Albon in 7th place and Ollie Berman in the top damn 10. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. We got Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton disqualified, as well as Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris with the fastest lap, seeing as if get disqualified is not going to count, right? Big shout out to Galactus in the super chat. From now on, they better put a new block each race. Yes, they need to put a new block on each. They need to do something, bro. They gotta do something to avoid the stupidityness. And if you can't check throughout the events and manage that, then like Galactus said, as we call it in the Navy, gun deck it. We're just gonna take it all out, put a new in, send that. There we go. Paul in the super chat. Ain't that a bunch of shit? Flex floor, ass breaking, no penalty, puckless, a piece of paper, too thin, DQ kind of crazy. Congrats to McLaren. Smash the like button. Hey, all of that. All of that, man. And it's this right here is just ridiculous, man. This is something that a team should not be able to do. And this is something, when I say should not be able to do, I'm saying should not be able to do. You as a team should not be making these mistakes. You shouldn't be allowed to do things like this. There are certain things that should be checked. And this is one of them, because this is something that's been a prominent area of focus since the ground effects have kicked in and teams have had to adjust this. So, yes, big shout out. Now, let's look into this. Let's just take a peek and look into some of these the findings, all right? All is well. So, as we look in here, we're going to look into Lewis Hamilton's document. Driver, car 44, right here. Of course, Ferrari, 1848, their time, which is 6:48 standard time. And as we see right here, thickness of the plank assembly was below the permitted minimum thickness. All right. You can find that in breach article 3.5.9, which we have looked up before to show the specs of that. We've done a episode on that before. We looked in the specs and read through all the regs. We did that. Car 44 disqualified from the race. All of the drivers move up in the classifications. So that whole 6 situation that we saw earlier, that's not even happening, right? That what we were already looking into and wasn't the best situation, right? We were looking at Ferrari 5 and 6, and we were already kind of saying that things got to change anyway for that. But here it is now. And we're having a situation where both of these drivers are being disqualified by no fault of their own. Galactus says, just like having no gas last year. Come on, fam. Thank you. Like no gas. So this is the most elite level of motorsports. These things should not happen. I understand things will happen, but there comes a time where certain things should not be happening, should be routine. And let's just be fair. If you go a stint without something like this, okay, we can kind of look at it and we're going to criticize it, but all right, you haven't made them. Ferrari is always making these mistakes. Ferrari is making these type of blunders in the season, throughout the season. And I told you all, I was concerned if Ferrari would be able to turn the tide on this very type of things. And it seems like not so. Paul saying puck thickness engineer must have had the weekend off. The weekend off? Bro, he must have had the whole season off. Last season, he must have not even been in attendance. So all drivers, the stewards heard from the team representative of car 44. Plank assembly of car 44 measured and found 8.6 millimeters out. 8.6 millimeters and 8.5 RHS. This is below the minimum thickness of 9 millimeter specified under 3.5.9 of the technical regulations. During the hearing, team representative confirmed that the measurement is correct, that all required procedures were performed correctly, that the team also acknowledged there were no mitigating circumstances, and it was genuine error by the team. I mean, there is no fighting that. There's no fighting measurements. Either it's in or it's out. Just like everybody running loosey-goosey with McLaren, the legal wing. No, it was in, it's illegal. If it was out, it'd be illegal. This right here, you're out of regs. By the current standard that has been in place, you are out of regs. Not one, but both damn drivers. Both drivers? Come on, man. Look at this. Weight of car 16 below the minimum weight required. Below the weight required. Car 16 was weighed in by the FIA. FIA scales which showed 799 kilograms after the customary draining of fuel and the replacement of a broken front wing. So we can't get the measurement of planks right, and we can't get the measurement of how much fuel needs to be in the car till racing. And I understand. I am going to give, and people might, I'm going to give a little bit of grace here because of the situation and other circumstances that surround Leclerc's entire race. Front wing end plate was missing, so damaged parts there. Weight, that could have been whatever that may have been, 1 kilogram, whatever the case is. But we're talking about 800 to 799 race distance. Maybe they didn't account for it. There is no refueling inside of the race. So I'm going to give a little bit of grace here. Just a little bit of grace. But one thing that I'm not going to accept is I'm not going to accept the blabbering, blundering BS about these are not the type of situations where we go into talking about Ferrari is putting illegal cars out there on track in such a way that it is menacing. This is simply checks and balance not carried out correctly. Not carried out correctly. That is what this is. And let's also pay attention to the standard. It's 9 millimeters, okay? 8.6, found to be 8.6 LHS, car center line, and then right hand, 8.5 millimeters from the thickness of 9. So we're talking about 0.5, 0.4, altogether 1 millimeter if you add up the variance. Is it a lot? No. But the point is, it's not the minimum of 9 millimeters. And so I can ride with that, but these are things that should be checked. You can check these things. You can measure these things out. I don't think there's any regulation or rule that permits from you making sure your components, your areas, your structures, your flaps, anything that can be measured by the FIA. I don't think there's something in place that says you can't measure that. You can't measure that. I don't think there's anything in place that says you can't measure that. So Ferrari, again, as I have said, make strategic decisions that will piss you off and will handicap or diminish their driver's ability. They make mistakes as this that will be a blunder and ruin their opportunity to collect more points and win races. And here we are, completely, utterly disqualified. Completely. That it's unacceptable for a team of Ferrari stature, especially. We're not talking about Haas. We're not talking about Sauber. We're talking about Ferrari. And sadly, to be said, it's a common thing. I don't think this would be the first time that we look at Ferrari and say, damn, they fumbled it up. It's not. We've done it many times. And also, I told you, one of my concerns with Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari was, can Ferrari turn a leaf on these very situations that they make a lot of mistakes in, and are their strategy? Let's do this. Let's not act like, since Lewis Hamilton is here, that we all don't remember we were criticizing Ferrari about having A through Z strategy. Okay, we're going strategy A, B, C, look at strategy F, G, H. There got to a point where I think many of us was like, we've never heard a team go into strategy G. Like G, we at Golf, Echo, Frank, Hotel. We going to be at Lima, Papa, next. I mean, well, we know this. We were just expecting that this team, with receiving such a great driver like Lewis Hamilton, would be sure that they could indeed make a change and make sure we don't lose out on the potential opportunity that we have here. With all things said, it's round 2. If something like this were going to take place, and it did, and I wouldn't like it to happen, but if I just definitely had to make sure and had to make a decision, no, there's no way it's happening, it's going to happen, where do you want it to happen? Okay, as soon as possible, so I can get it out of the way, put it behind me, we can move forward and not do this anymore. We're going to make sure we don't do this anymore. Round 1 or 2, okay, it's happened. Ferrari, you got to get beyond this, and there are other things that need to be worked on. This just got added to the pile. Let's not forget, we just coming off of Lewis leave us to it. That's still fresh. That's one day old fried chicken or one day old pizza. And I'm going to tell you, one day old pizza is damn near better than the first day you got it. So we still talking about fresh, ready to go. We just got into the other situation with Lewis Hamilton trying to help you all manage when I'm going to switch, because you all are trying to switch cars in situations where it's really not going to help you. And I'm gonna be straight up with you. I don't think this is going to be the last time we're going to have this conversation. We talking about Haas and points, which I'm congratulations on that. Ollie Behrman, this is a phenomenal day for him. And listen, these things happen in racing, right? So there shouldn't be criticism on, Oliver Behrman, you only ate because, this happens. Ollie's not the only person that this has taken place to. Carlos Sainz, welcome to the 10th spot. Now, we can look at it and say by review, we need Carlos to come a bit further up and make some things happen so we can see two Williams cars in merit. But, that's it. That's it. I got nothing for this. I got nothing else for this. I just am sitting here. I'm going to go lay down. And while I'm laying down, I'm going to sit here and think, how many more times is Ferrari going to do something like this for the rest of the season? Because there's a lot of season left. And I'm going to be a buck with you. It's early, but damn, I'm looking in the distance and are those gray clouds coming? They need to clear this up. And there's no absolute shade for Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc. This is not their job. This is not Lewis Hamilton's job. We're already talking about Lewis grabbing more of the responsibility of trying to call his own strategies. We heard Yuki do it today. Yuki straight up told him, no, I do. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. Now, I don't think necessarily worked out the best, but maybe it wouldn't have worked out any difference. But we've already talked about Lewis Hamilton doing this. I'm not going as far as talking about Charles and Lewis grabbing tools, working on their car, grabbing standards and blocks and measuring out surfaces and flaps and DRS wings. I'm not doing that. This is not their job. Fred Vasseur, you better get on top of it. You better figure out where the problem is and pinpoint it and make sure it doesn't happen again. I don't care if you got to dock somebody's pay. I don't care if you got to dock something from something. Somebody going to feel this. And the rest of you all are going to understand that if mistakes like this happen that make us look completely foolish in the eyes of Formula One, when we are Ferrari, we take so much pride in being Ferrari. Oh yeah, you better believe you going in the tabloids and in the papers and in the content creators and the talking heads and the sports talk shows and the commentary and the post race shows, they're going to be talking about Ferrari fined such and such. Ferrari fined a member of their team for dropping the ball. You want to be that person? Go right ahead. Because then when we fire you, they going to know why. You better correct this within your ranks, Fred, because this is not a good look. And just to be clear, this is probably the best opportunity that Ferrari had before the new regulations kick in 2026 and a whole bunch of other issues come down the pipeline. Like I said, it's round 2. Got a lot of racing to do. I'm hoping that they can make it happen. That is what I am hoping. So big shout out to everybody. Big shout out to Pia for winning this race. McLaren is looking strong. And again, Max Verstappen hasn't won a race yet. So Wolfpack out. Peace.